So, if you're anything like me, with the school year starting back up, you've got lots of these boring notebooks and folders to deal with. No matter what subject it is, they seem to be everywhere. So today I'm going to show you how to change these boring stacks of paper into stunning pieces of art. So here are all of our notebooks and folders that we're going to make look really cool. But let me give you a quick teaser of what they might look like. Here we have my Examine notebook. This looks really nice. I spent some time doing this, and it's got my name on it and some cool circular patterns. I also made this covered up my Bible cover, so it looks really cool. Alright, so this one's going to be my writing folder. I think I'm going to go with like a kind of blocking design along the outer edge that kind of just circles the whole thing, or maybe just this side, and then put some like text in the middle. So I finished this side, and I don't think I'm going to go along the bottom and top edges, but I'm going to extend this out a little further, I think. All it took to make this folder look really special. I'm really pleased with how this turned out. I really like the block designs I put on the side and how I circled the GWL. And then just so I know what it is from the back as well, I put GWL at the top. This only took like 10 minutes for me to do, or less. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do here is to this other folder I use at my church for setting up and tearing down, because I'm kind of leading that team. It's an old folder from Huntington Bank, but I don't really want people to know that, so I'm going to use this little tab here that covers that up and says church. And if you're wondering how I went about doing this Sharpie designs, you can watch my video about making standout posters, because it's pretty much the same method. I'll link it in the YouTube card. So what I'm going to do is take this piece here that's on nice thick paper from an old poster about the Red Wings and glue it on. This was on a previous binder, but that was much too slick for the glue I was using, and you can see that it all just peeled right off and is stuck on here. So I'm going to try this again. This little Eli there is going to have to stay, so let's get gluing. And just like that, this one is done. It looks nice and homemade, if that's what you want to go for. I'm going to have to clean up around the edges where some of the glue leaked out. While we wait for this one to dry, let's move on to... Alright, so here's the folder, and here is the paper I'm covering it with. I folded it nicely in half so that it's even, and this is like a double long paper, so it can go all the way around my notebook and then fold over the sides. But I still want to be able to open it up and flip it backwards like you do with spiral bound notebooks. I'm gonna have to put some like folds, extra folds in the corner here. What I was saving for the end I'm doing right now. I'm going to fold it over so it's almost gonna look like a bound notebook, even though it's a spiral bound notebook. Let's get on to that. Now to give the top a nice clean edge, actually all the edges, I'm going to fold this over, and because I cut it, it's not going over the binding and causing problems. Then just glue that down like I did the other ones here with some normal stick glue, and then a quick run of the liquid Elmer's glue. Then just fold that over. Alright, so I finished this wrap around the binder, and it looks really good on the back. And then when it's opened up, it folds over nicely and can still be used. Except I made one pretty big mistake. I didn't glue this down. So it's all like loose here, and the only thing keeping this from like bending way over here is that I've already creased it. So I think I'm going to try putting a little bit of glue in each of these holes, kind of that way, to give it a little more attachment. It'd be great to do that when you're like lining up these edges. You just put some glue down there and in the middle, and it'll be held down nicely. Alright, so while we're waiting for my fixing job-ish thing to dry here, I got it separated with these other pieces of scrap paper in here so that it doesn't spill onto the pages. But in the meantime, we can get to the original goal, which was to glue this nice printed YouTube thing on. The reason I wrapped this around here was because earlier, like I said, you could see right through this. You could see that it said like 70 sheets, college rule. I'm going to kind of feel around here for the edges. And, well, I can't do that because I still have those pages in there. So, I'll come back when this is done dry. So while that previous one is drying, I'm going to show you a much easier way to make these look nice. So this is my journal from last year, but it's still got some pages in it. And I want to give it a little more rustic look, so I'm going to use this brown paper. It looks more brown on real life. And it's already torn at the bottom, so what I'm going to do is just write like journal or like Eli journal on here, and then tear around it and glue that on so that it looks like old and rustic with the torn edges. I might like do some burning on it if I really want to. Alright, so I finished ripping this out, and something I noticed, it might just be my construction paper, but if you're ripping a more granulated paper like this, it might have the like tendons of it going one direction. So you can see it was really easy to rip like straight along the bottom, but then when I went up and down, it really wanted to like zigzag. So just be careful about that. You might need to clean up your edges a little bit afterwards. Alright, so this right here in the video I lost some footage, so you didn't see me explaining it, but I have my science notebook and I'm just gluing on the front cover as opposed to wrapping it all the way around like I did with the YouTube notebook, and I'm about to show you how to avoid making the same mistake I did with the YouTube notebook. It's like the key point where you avoid making that mistake I did earlier. First you glue down this edge so that the paper stays in the right position, then you flip it back over and then like unfold it here, and you've got all this space to easily apply your glue all over, and you'll have no problems. Alright, so I just had an idea here. I want it to be kind of like, not 2.5D, but I mean like, have like a pull tab on it. I mean, it's gonna have to go inside my backpack and squish to other folders, so it's gotta be kind of low profile, literally. I have like a counter outlined here, like a big box, and then I want to have like a beaker right around here that's spilled, and then leaking over the side some unknown fluid, and then a pull tab that comes down from under the paper that's going to be here, making up the counter. A pull tab that when you pull it says like science. Alright, so I'm trying to make this like counter shape, like cube. So I've got the science notebook here. I've glued on this other piece of my countertop that I'm going to have. And then this one that I cut out is going to go right here and kind of complete it. And inside is this slider mechanism thing that can be pulled out, and it'll say science, and then you push back in, and hopefully you won't be able to see it. I'm going to have a beaker right here that's like spilled out something, and then when you pull it down it'll say science. So I'll just have to glue on these four sides, and I'm going to make a little tube here for this to go in, so that you can't just like push it way up onto the side like that. So as you can see here, I've made a little sleeve for this so that it can't go all over the place. It's still got pretty loose tolerances, which will make it a little more interesting, except I think it should have been tighter. And hopefully my double layer thick construction paper that I used for this tab will be thick enough to withstand. But now all I have left to do is I got it stuck up there. So fortunately, that's what I'm about to prevent by folding these down here and gluing them over. And then I should be able to just glue down the entire back of it now that I've got this set up. In case I lost you in there somewhere, basically what we've done is started out with this folder and quickly penned in this. It didn't take very long. Next, we stepped it up a notch by making a design that is on a separate piece of paper and using color. So, not that impressive. Then we really leapt forward to this totally sweet YouTube notebook, which I've gone ahead and glued this on without recording it, since it's like exactly the same way I did with my science notebook, which I'll show you in just a second. But it looks really sleek, and I love the binding here. We didn't do anything here but wrap the paper around it, and it just opens up perfectly. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. It turned out even better than I hoped. Then we've got my writing journal, and for all you who noticed that I spelled writing wrong, I righted that wrong and wrote writing. Lastly, we've got the science notebook I told you about, and this is glued on like I showed you, and got this sweet pull down tab. So I've got these last three things to go through and show you, so I'll quick run through those and then sum up the video. And hey, if you're getting value out of this, please smash the like button, and if you like what I'm doing here, consider subscribing. So what to do for the outro? Just keep watching. Alright, I hope this video inspired you to take your creativity and learning to the next level. If you're interested in learning more and seeing more of what I'm doing here, there'll be a video here, and as always, I'm Eli Tennant, this is Make Your Brain, and if you want to subscribe to support my channel, that'll be right here.